Hey everybody, I'm Tumultuous. If you don't know who I am, you will after this. Just kidding, sometimes I'm a little pompous. There's an exercise out there that basically says sit down, pretend you're on your deathbed, and write your last will and testament, so to speak. Or write things you would want to have done, or things you didn't do if you were on your deathbed. Now, although it is a decent exercise, I don't really agree with it as I don't think it's effective. Because when you're sitting down and you're writing a list as if you were on your deathbed, there's no possible way you could have the same sentiment as you would if you're on your deathbed. Now, short of already having died once or becoming close to it, you might have a notion of what that really feels like. I certainly hope that that doesn't happen to any of you. I hope we all go nice and softly into the good night. But like Alexander the Great said, he had 3 wishes on his deathbed: that his doctors and only his doctors were to carry his grave or his coffin, that the path to his grave was to be embedded in gold, silver, and all the riches he acquired throughout his conquering most of the known world before the age of 40. And the third and last wish was that his hands were to be outside of the coffin. Holes were to be drilled into it, and his hands to be hanging outside for everyone to see. See, even after death, Alexander was still talking to us. He was trying to say that no matter how many riches you acquire, and he's acquired plenty, he defeated the Persian Empire, for Christ's sakes. They mean nothing at the end. They're worthless. So if you have a plan and you have a goal to be a millionaire and be rich and have a house and family and 9 cars, whatever it is, and tomorrow you get hit by a bus, God forbid, then all that time you've spent chasing that dream and fighting for it would have been wasted because it never happened. Yes, it's very unfortunate that you get hit by a bus or die before you think you're going to die, but that's exactly it. Tomorrow is not promised. His doctors carrying his coffin meant that no man could cure or avoid death. No doctor. And his hands outside of his coffin meant that you come into this world with nothing, and so you shall leave this world with nothing. So here's why that exercise doesn't sit right with me. They interviewed a bunch of people that were celebrities, rock stars, movie stars, people with a lot of money, people that have done things that people like you and I only dream of doing, on their deathbed or close to their death. And they asked them, what are the things that they regret most about their life? And much to my surprise at the time, probably some to your surprise, it wasn't, I wish I traveled more, or I wish I had more cars, or I wish I wrote more songs, or did more movies, or had more money. Every single one of them said that they wished that they spent more time around the people they love, around their families, friends, anyone. Because when you're on your deathbed, you're not thinking about traveling, even if you haven't traveled. You're not thinking about writing songs, even if you've never written a song. You're not thinking about writing computer programs or whatever it is that you love doing now. When you're on your deathbed, you feel alone, I would imagine. And for the longest time, I never wanted kids. Just didn't want them. And my father and my mother were always pressing me to have kids. Well, not to have kids, but to marry and have a family. And I always asked them, why? Who fucking cares? And they said, you're going to care when you're lying there on your deathbed and you wish somebody that loved you was still there, because we're not going to be, they said. I have a brother, but that's not the point. The point is, at a certain point in his life, a man starts to want to have legacy, something to leave behind when he goes, something that maybe thousands of years later people would still be mentioning his name and getting hundreds and thousands of hits on TikTok by posting something that he asked for before his death. Alexander the Great was giving a message to all of us. The saying is, live each day like if it was your last. Meaning doesn't go wild and spend all your money, although according to him it really is worthless. It's true, it is. But it's not to plan too far ahead. And if something happens along the way that veers you off of the plan, don't be upset about it, because tomorrow's not promised. If you open your eyes today and you take that first breath and you convert that gas or 3 gases into a different one, which is magical, if you think about it, not to you or to me, but to to someone that doesn't know how to breathe or what it is, it's magic. And just be grateful that you got to do that. And then think about it if you were really dying. Would you really give a shit about what Paris looks like? Really? Or seeing the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or the Abu Dhabi in Dubai? Or would you want to look at your mother and tell her that you love her? Or your father? Or your brother? Or anyone? Your friend? And if you don't have any of those, your dog, your fish. Because I have a feeling that's what it would be. One of the biggest and most important things in this life is everyone else in it. Human beings. Exponentially we're growing. There's more and more of us, and some of us are not very, very good human beings. Some of us are, and some of us are just there. Day by day, going about our lives, 9 to 5, doing our thing, robots. There was a photographer that sat at the corner of New York, and every day at like 7 o'clock in the morning to 9, I think. And he just took pictures all the time. And then he flipped through them. And one of the craziest discoveries that he had was that people were not only in a loop, constantly doing the same thing over and over again. The loop was so intricate that they would wear the same outfit at the same time in a rhythmical pattern of days. Now, to me, that's worse than being a bird in a cage or a fish in a tank, because you are not a bird in a cage or a fish in a tank. You are free to do whatever you want. You have free will. And that's what you do. You become a bird in a cage by choice. But it's not by choice. It's because you constantly get gentle pressure every day. Pushes you towards a certain direction, to the point where you can't even remember who you were before. I'm 36. I tried to remember what I did between the ages of 23 and 28. That's 5 years. And I couldn't remember. I had to go back through Instagram and look at my pictures. Oh, okay. Which is why it's also very important to keep a journal, so to speak, or a daily log, something to remind yourself who you were yesterday and the day before, because that constant gentle pressure, although you don't feel it, is great. If you have two parallel lines, right? Let me see what I can do. All right, perfect. You have two parallel lines, like these closet doors. You go on straight forever, imagine. And then you change the angle just a little bit. It doesn't look like much. But if you go 3 miles up at the same angle, those doors would be yards apart, but you wouldn't feel it. So live each day as if tomorrow is not there. You want to spend all your money? Spend it. Spend it. Why? Because money's going to come and go. Time is something you cannot get back. And if you spend 5 hours doing something you love and it flew by, that's good. Just write it down so you remember it. And every day, try to at least tell someone that you know how you feel about them. And even if you have to lie a little bit, a white lie, you know, do I look fat? Get out of here. You couldn't look fat if you tried. You know what I mean? Because one, it's giving you the memory that you still know them. And two, it's telling another human being something nice, something beautiful. Because everyone needs to hear something beautiful every day. I get that through the internet, believe it or not, through TikTok. I make a post and people tell me what they think about it. A lot of it's very positive. A lot of it makes me feel good. But what makes me feel the best is when people take what I say and use it and contribute to the value of that statement by living what I say. And the best feeling is when it works out for them. That's the shit that brings a tear to my eye. Because that's really all I want to do. I just want to help people out by telling them what I know. And if it's an example of something that you shouldn't do, be that as it may, but it's still adding value. You're either adding value or you're subtracting value. Stagnant happens only when you're in that loop and you're doing nothing. And you're not adding, nor are you subtracting, which means technically you're subtracting. So even if you have to go out of your way 8 steps on your way to your car to help somebody out with their grocery bags, or at least offer, or hold the door open for anyone. It doesn't have to be you have to give money to the homeless every day or everywhere you go. I stopped giving cash to the homeless because, shit, I have no money left. I give them cigarettes now because I've never met a homeless person that doesn't smoke. I see it as me giving them a little bit of my death. It's very morbid, but they don't care. And I am giving something, if you think about it. Otherwise, I'd smoke the cigarette. The way I see it is, whatever is that which makes you happy at the moment, do it. Be impulsive. It's fine. Don't kill anyone. If that makes you happy, then we have to talk a little bit. Maybe like on the side. But you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. Riches don't matter. If you're rich, great. Stop making money. If you're rich where you could be happy with what you have, or you have enough money to be happy with what you have, be happy with what you have. If this quarantine has taught me anything, is how to do exactly that. Stop striving and running as fast as I can to climb and climb and climb, because if tomorrow a rung of that ladder breaks and I fall down and break my leg and I can't climb anymore, what was the point of the plan? What was the point of the climb? If you die tomorrow, what's the point of having a plan to live forever? And that is exactly what is going on. Nothing is promised. So trust me, live for yourself and limit your taking to your giving. And if you can, try to give a little more. That's my message to you. Have a good one.